Okay, I feel like this video is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to waste too much time on the intro. Basically, I've been writing for a really long time, and in that time I've managed to pick up a bunch of different methods for beating writer's block, because it happens to the best of us. Not saying that I'm the best of us, but you know. I somehow managed to consistently write at least a little bit every single day, and a lot of that has been habit building, but it also has been learning how to identify and defeat my writer's block. So yeah, this is that video. I guess what I do want to say is, as always, no writing advice is one size fits all, so some of what works for me may not work as well for you. My sort of general advice is to just keep an eye out for the root cause of your problem. Like, is it something pertaining to the story? Are you just not satisfied with what you're working on? Or do you just need a nap? But I don't know, hopefully in the meantime these tips will at least give you something to work with. So tip number 1 is to keep a stack of inspirational works on hand. Ideally, this would be a small collection of books or short stories, other written works that can inspire you with their prose or otherwise sort of just give you the vibe that you're going for with your own work. So kind of like advanced comp titles for vibes. I know I say that word too much, but you know what? This is my channel. For example, while writing my very dreamy, mythology-heavy young adult fantasy, I always kept a Laini Taylor book on hand. Reading just a few lines from any of those books would just give me this instant lightning bolt of inspiration, especially if it was like a Laini Taylor book, just because her prose is amazing. But this can also apply to movies, specific songs, a TV show, a webtoon, just basically anything that will sort of spark that creativity within you. Tip number 2 is to change your location. When stay-at-home orders first went into effect back, holy shit, like a year ago, I started doing these cafe days where I pull out our dining room table and put everything into the sun. And then I brew some fancy drinks or eat like fresh baked goods, scones, and other things like that. You don't have to go that far, but simply moving your desk or finding a safe spot outdoors to work at can be surprisingly effective for jolting you out of that listlessness. Honestly, I feel like sitting at my desk day in and day out, just staring at my laptop has been super detrimental to my creativity and overall productivity, so I try to find new spaces whenever I can. Tip number 3, if possible, try to turn writing into a treat, not a chore. It is important to treat writing like it's your job if you do want to pursue publication, traditional publishing, or any sort of writing-based career. But if you especially turn working on a book that you really love writing and you feel is really important to you into a reward for finishing household cleaning or shift at work, you can sort of like Pavlov yourself into associating writing with leisure time, which makes it a lot easier to sort of pick up your laptop at the end of the day, open up that Word document, and get to work. I find this works best if you sort of start the habit when it's easy. Like, for me, that would be the early stages of a book where I don't necessarily have a concrete plan and I'm just sort of like writing out scenes to feel them out. Trying to get a gist of the book, and it's very loose and very freeing. Tip number 4 is to get away from the screen. If you have the means, printing out a chapter or two to just go over it once in a while and revising by hand, or picking up a nice journal because, we all have at least like 20 of those, and I know we're not writing in them, we just keep them because they're pretty. But yeah, picking up one of those and writing by hand for a little while can actually work wonders. I feel like it just shakes me out of that sort of listless headspace. For me, writer's block is definitely a symptom of just being repetitive, doing the same thing over and over again and getting stuck in a loop. So yeah, writing by hand, even though it is archaic and what old people do, it kind of helps. Number 5 is to do a self-care session. So basics first, make sure you're eating and sleeping and washing your face at night. I tend to like to do these miniature spa days. I'll turn on some nice relaxing music, put on a face mask. Lighting a candle is actually always really nice, especially a lavender candle. And just turning off your brain for a little bit, pampering yourself, that can honestly be the hard reset that you might be needing. And the trick here is to just give yourself permission to take a break. Number 6 is to challenge yourself to a sprint, but without any stakes or any pressure. So, just free write whatever you feel like writing. No plan, no goals. Don't think about, is this going to be good enough to get published? Or am I going to include this in the next book? Am I going to turn it into a series? Get that bullshit out of your head and just type whatever you want to be typing or handwrite whatever you want to be handwriting and see if it loosens some of that creativity up in you. I feel like working on the same project for a long stretch of time, like I've been working on my young adult fantasy for 3 years at this point, that can really sort of like mash down your creativity and your will to live. So I think it's really important to get away from certain projects for a little bit and just remind yourself that you have a wide breadth of stories in you. This isn't the first or last book that you're going to be writing. You're always going to have another story to look forward to. Tip number 7, make a deal with yourself. So I do this a lot, just pretty much with everything. I think it's also helpful to break up your work time into little chunks and then reward yourself at the end of those chunks. Essentially, I'll be like, okay, if I write for an hour straight, I can eat some pie or bake some brownies or just do something for me. And if you tend to have a shorter attention span, like I do, I will sometimes do 15 minutes, and then once I find my groove within that 15 minutes, I can quickly turn that into 30 minutes or an hour or so on and so forth. And the thing that I will always use for this is my forest timer. Tip number 8 is sort of my last resort. Like, it's definitely my Hail Mary, and it's a little out there, but basically I will Venmo a trusted friend some money, like $10 or $15, which isn't enough to like bankrupt me, but it is enough to get me sort of worried. And then I set a deadline, like, I'll say, if I don't finish these revisions by the end of the month, just don't give me my money back. This is probably more efficient for like a short-term goal. For example, saying that you want to finish writing the first draft of a chapter by the end of the day, just send that $10 along, set a time limit, make sure it's not someone who will run off with your money. But this is actually shockingly effective, and money works for me, but I could also see this happening with a favorite book or like a really expensive makeup palette. Just give something that you value to someone and then tell them that you're not allowed to have that thing back until you finish whatever the hell you're supposed to be doing. Alright, those are all my tips. If you have your own methods for beating writer's block, tell me in the comments down below, especially if they're kind of weird, because I like to hear that stuff. Because my life has gotten busy, I actually upload every other week on Thursdays or Fridays now, so if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe or turn on that little notifications doodad so you don't miss anything. Also, you can actually give this video a thumbs up. I don't know, there's like so many different things. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.